Hello, my name is Natasha and I am a family yoga teacher, and I am here today to speak about how you can start a family yoga practice at home. What should you keep in mind if you're just starting a practice or you're wanting to get more out of your time together? What should you keep in mind? So the first thing is to keep it simple. So if you are practicing yoga yourself, maybe you've been to some classes or you have your own yoga practice. That's how I started practicing with my children, is I had my own yoga practice, and I knew what a difference it made for me. It helped me to manage my stress, my anxiety. It helped me get out of my head, and just always coming back to these different tools and techniques that I have learned. I really know the difference when I haven't stepped on my mat, right? So I know I wish I had learned all these things a lot earlier. Would have helped me massively, I am sure. So I really wanted to help my children to learn this in a way that was accessible for them, like without just lecturing them and forcing them to do yoga with me, but actually making it fun and making it time that's just really special together, right? So if you have your own practice, that's great. You can bring that experience of that so that you can practice those poses. And if you don't have that, that is okay as well, because you can learn together. And that can be a beautiful thing too, right? So as long as you are open to learning with them, and this can be really special as well, because the children get to see you in this whole new light. They get to see you learning something alongside them. And maybe they'll learn it faster than you. And that'll feel really good. It's like, well, do it like this, and they get to teach you. And it can just be such a beautiful practice together. So if you have your own practice or if you're learning together, either way, you're keeping it simple in the way that you're not being critical of their expression of the poses. You're letting them feel their way through the poses. As long as it's safe, then we're focusing on how it feels rather than how it looks. So I don't think anyone likes to be corrected all the time. Like, I know that would drive me just, I would get so frustrated when I was learning how to play bass and then just being corrected all the time by my brother, who was amazing. And, he's trying to be helpful, and I appreciate it. I do. But at the time, it was like a frustrating. And I quit. I gave up. Whereas if you kind of meet them where they are, you can practice with them, and maybe you dive deeper into one pose, and then you're like, well, how would it feel if we put our leg like this instead? Yeah, that feels better actually. Or no, I like it the way it was. Cool. It's their choice. See? So you're kind of leading them to that, but without going, hey, you're doing it completely wrong and you suck. Like, we don't want that, right? Because that's not a nice feeling. So we want to really encourage them with their practice. So if we have our own experience of the practice, it can help us. But as I say, learning together, brilliant. And you can also practice some partner poses. So that can be a really nice way to connect. Secondly is playing games, making it fun. So these games, they're not going to look like your standard yoga practice, right? You're not going to be just doing some adult flow. You might even be working with just like one yoga pose, or maybe even no yoga poses. And it's okay. It can still be part of your yoga practice, even if there are no poses involved, even if you're not really diving into yoga philosophy and it's just for fun. It can be part of your practice, right? It's looking at the bigger picture here and our intention behind the practice. So when I'm practicing with my children, it's because I want to have fun with them and connect with them, and I want to support their well-being, their mental, emotional, physical well-being. And so you're looking at the big picture and you can play the games, right? And these don't have to be quiet, they don't have to be calm, they can get noisy, they can get chaotic, organized chaos sometimes. But it's all a part of the learning process, right? So, one that my children love at home and is really fun in classes as well, because it's really good in a bigger group, is I used to call it 1, 2, 3 tree, I used to call it sneaky trees, then I called it grumpy neighbor, and then it became Mr. McGregor's garden because one of the children said it reminded them of Peter Rabbit. And so Mr. McGregor is very grumpy and he's looking around and he only wants to see bunnies in his garden. So, oh, no, he doesn't want to see bunnies. He only wants to see trees in his garden. So when he's looking around the garden like this, he's looking, everyone stands in their tree pose. Now, when you turn away, that's when all the bunnies hop. And this slows them down a bit as well, because I've played this game a lot for quite a few years now. And a lot of kids say, just run. You've turned around for a second. So you're at one end of the room and they're at the other. You turn around, you look, they're already there. They have just went so fast, and then the other kids get frustrated because they didn't even get to play. And so doing the bunny hops helps to slow things down a bit. And then you can also switch, so they can be Mr. McGregor. You can be really dramatic with this as well, as I said, with the grumpy neighbor or grumpy Mr. McGregor going around going and that's so fun as well. Just again, it's bringing that learning about emotions into it in a playful way, right? So that is a lot of fun, good in groups, good for just the two of you even, right? So lots of fun. So if we're playing these games, we're having a lot of fun, not getting too caught up in what the poses look like. What about the quiet side? What about the calm side? Well, that is just as important. So yes, we do loads of play, put a lot of emphasis on that playfulness, but the calm stuff can be playful. For one, it can. And secondly, if you are meeting their needs of movement and energy and being loud and doing all of that, if you're meeting that need, you are then able to calm things down, and they'll even start asking for it because they actually really love the quiet and the calm activities as well. And there are so many ways you can do this. It doesn't have to look like just sitting in meditation, sitting there, nothing going on. Like there's so many ways, and it's all a practice as well, right? So the more we do this, the easier it's going to become, the longer we can practice for. If you think of a grown-up, right? If I go out and I say to someone who's never meditated in their life, come and meditate for 20 minutes. Like, that's gonna be so hard. Maybe even impossible, don't know, but pretty hard, right? So we want to start small. All right, so if I went up that person and I was like, okay, come and meditate for 2 minutes with me, that might be more doable. It might still be challenging, right? But 2 minutes, they'll be like, okay, I can do that. I can do 2 minutes. And they'll be more willing to try again and keep practicing. And that's how our meditation practice is born, right? Just little bit at a time and in ways that work for us individually, whether that's candle gazing, a walking meditation, a guided visualization, story time, mindful coloring, like however we bring in this calm, it's going to be just trying different things, seeing what works for our own children because they're all so unique, right? But we can try these practices, explore these practices with them, and maybe you haven't had any experience or any positive experience with meditation and yoga yourself. So practicing it together in a fun and playful way without these huge expectations can be really powerful, because I feel like our expectations are sometimes what goes wrong for us. Like we go into a meditation thinking, okay, I'm going to have no thoughts. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to have no thoughts. I'm just going to focus on my breathing. And then we have thoughts and oh no, we failed. Like, no, we didn't. Like the point of meditation isn't that you don't have thoughts. But sometimes we put this extremely tough expectation on ourselves or on our children, and then it feels like when that isn't met, it can be disappointing. So one thing I do like about family yoga is those expectations aren't there. We can be a lot more present with what is happening. So I said I was sharing 4 things. So the 4th thing is consistency. So I did share a little bit about it being a practice, keep going. But yeah, just be consistent and don't leave it to chance. So go, just if I say, okay, I'm going to practice yoga regularly, what does that mean? What does that mean? So in my membership Family Yoga Game Night, what I have is a journaling sheet and a poster, and it talks you through setting an intention and then setting a date. So what date, what time are you going to practice each week? So our aim for Family Yoga Game Night is to practice once a week. And then I have a question that I think makes so much difference. And it's, if something comes up, what will I do? So if for any reason we can't practice on this time at this day, what will we do? And this is interesting, right? Because things do happen. Things come up in life. So you think of the excuses beforehand. So what could come up? Well, maybe I'm too tired that day. Maybe the kids are sick and we can't do our usual practice. Maybe we've got an appointment. Maybe we just forgot, right? You put the excuses there, and then you can go, okay, but if that happens, what will I do? It might be that you go, all right, well, we just practice next week. Okay. It might be that you practice an hour later, or you fit something in your morning, or maybe it's just that, well, that day we'll practice a breathing exercise like tracing hand breath before we go to sleep. So you have a plan, right? So that you are keeping up with this consistency. And that is going to be the big difference in just dabbling in family yoga and then having a family yoga practice, something that you can really support your children with and learn and grow and practice together. So just to recap, so we had the first thing, poses, keep them simple, keep correction as a minimum, focus on the connection instead. Number 2, make it playful, play the games, have some fun with it. Number 3, do not skip the calm and mindful practices, the quiet time, the Shavasana. Don't skip it. It's all good. And number 4, stay consistent. Come up with a plan. And if you need some help with staying consistent, you need some support in your yoga practice, maybe you just need some new game ideas, maybe you'd like some tutorials on the poses so you can learn and practice together, maybe you just want to join a community where you're going to feel supported and we have a goal of looking after children's well-being. If that sounds like something that would really help your family, then I would love to welcome you into Family Yoga Game Night. All the details are in the description of this video. And if you haven't already, if you could hit like on this video, hit subscribe to my channel, it would do wonders in helping me to support other families who really need this time together to connect and to look after the children's well-being and also their own. I have some upcoming workshops coming up as well, all included inside a Family Yoga Game Night. So we have our live and interactive family yoga classes. We have a self-care session for the grown-ups. We have a workshop for yoga teachers. And then we have our Q&As as well inside the group. So come and join us. I'd love to welcome you. So thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day.